Hey YouTubers, I have my love letter. Let's look at Forgive. Let's go to Psalms 78, and we will start with verse 27, and we will work down to 38. And he raised flesh also upon them as dust, and feathered fowls like as the sand of the sea. And he let it fall in the midst of their camp, round about their habitation. So did they eat, and were well filled. For he gave them their own desire. They were not enraged with their lust, but while their meat was yet in their mouths, the wrath of God came upon them, and slew the fattest of them, and smote down the chosen men of Israel. For all this they sinned still, and believed not for his wondrous works. Wherefore their days did he consume in vanity, and their years in trouble. When he slew them, then they sought him, and they returned and inquired early after God. And they remembered that God was their rock, and the high God their Redeemer. Nevertheless, they did flatter him with their mouths, and they lied unto him with their tongues. For their hearts were not right with him, neither were they steadfast in his covenant. But he, being filled of compassion, forgave their iniquity, and destroyed them not. Yea, many a time turned he his anger away, and did not stir up all his wrath. Let's go to Matthew. And we want 18. Matthew 18. Matthew 18, and we want 21 down to 35. Then came Peter unto him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times? And Jesus said unto him, I say unto thee, until 7 times, but until 70 times 7. Wherefore is the kingdom of heaven likened to a certain king, which would take an account of his servant. And when he had begun to reckon, one was brought unto him which was owed him 10,000 talents. But forasmuch as he had not to pay, his Lord commanded him to be sold, and his wife and children, and all he had, and payment to be made. The servant therefore fell down and worshipped him, saying, Lord, have patience with me, and I will pay thee all. And the Lord of the servant was moved with compassion, and loosed him, and forgave him the debt. But the same servant went out, and found one of his fellow servants, which owed him 100 pieces. And he laid hands on him, and took him by the throat, saying, Pay me that thou owest. And his fellow servant fell down at his feet, and besought him, saying, Have patience with me, and I will pay thee all. And he would not, but went and cast him into prison, till he should pay the debt. So when his fellow servants saw that what was done, they were very sorry, and came and told unto their Lord all that was done. Then his Lord, after that he had called him, and said unto him, O thou wicked servant, I forgave thee all that debt, because thou desirest me. Shouldest not thou also have had compassion on thy fellow servant, even as I had pity on thee? And his Lord was wroth, and delivered him to the tormentors, till he should pay all that was due to him. So likewise shall all my heavenly fathers do also unto you, if ye from your hearts forgive not every one his brother their transgressions. That is very hard to do, is forgive somebody for something that they have done. It's hard. You've got to work with it. But let's go to Luke. And we want 7. And we want 36 down to 43. And one of the Pharisees desired him that he would eat with them. And he went into the Pharisee's house and sat down to meat. And behold, a woman in the city, which was a sinner, which he knew that Jesus sat at meat in the Pharisee's house, bought an alabaster box of ointment, and stood at his feet behind him weeping, and began to wash his feet with tears, and did wipe them with the hairs of her head, and kissed his feet, and anointed them with ointment. Now when the Pharisees which had bidden him saw it, he spoke within himself, saying, This man, if he were a prophet, would have known who and what manner of woman this is that touched him, for she is a sinner. And Jesus answered unto him, Simon, I have somewhat to say unto thee. But he saith, Master, say on. There was a certain creditor which had 2 debtors. The one owed 500 pences, and the other 50. And when they had nothing to pay, he frankly forgave them both. Tell me, wherefore, which of them will love him most? Simon answered and said, I suppose that he to whom he forgave most. And he said unto him, Thou hast rightly judged. Let's go to 2 Corinthians. And we want 2. And we want to start with number 5 and work our way down to 11. But if any have caused grief, he hath not grieved me, but in part, that I may not overcharge you all. Significant as much of man is this punishment which was inflated of many, so that counterwise ye ought rather to forgive him and comfort him, lest perhaps such a one would be shuttled up with an overmuch sorrow. Wherefore I beseech you that ye would confirm your love towards him. For to this end also did I write, that I might know the proof of you, whether ye be obedient in all things. To whom ye forgive many things, I forgive also. For if I forgive anything, to whom I forgive it, for your sake, forgive I it in the person of Christ, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. In other words, he can use being mad and not forgiving. And this is a true story. I have a lot of problems of forgiving right now. I used to have an old book that had all of George Washington, all the founding fathers' letters in them that they had wrote back and forth. All of them. It was in one great, huge, gigantic book. And this guy that I was with decided that he was going to take it, and he sold it, and I don't have it no more. And it really puts hatred towards him because he got rid of the book. But I still work for it. It's been years, 2 or 3 years now that this has happened. But it still comes up in my mind every once in a while. It bothers me. But this right here, this book right here is the only one that really matters to me. And I need to get it into my heart that this book is the one that counts, not the other one. It would have been nice to have it at this time and be able to read it on this channel on what founding fathers' letters were. so as everybody would know, but I don't have it no more. But that's okay. I will learn to forgive. Alright, let's go to Colossians. Maybe if I can get there, we want to go to 3. We want to start with 9. Lie not one to another, seeing that ye have put off the old man with his deeds, and have put on a new man, which is renewed in knowledge, after the image of him that created him. Where there is neither Greek nor Jew, circumcised or non-circumcised, Barabian, Scythian, don't know what that word is, bound or free, but Christ is all and in all. Put on therefore as the elect of God, holy and beloved, bowels of mercy, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long-suffering, forbearing one another, and forgiving one another. If any man have a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgives you, so also do ye. And above all these things, put on charity, which is the bound of perfectionist. Okie dokie, let's look at what the concordance says. In the Old Testament is 3722, to cover, explain, or condone, cancel, erase, make atonement, cleanse, disable it, dissemble, forgive, be merciful, pardon, purge away, put off, reconcile. In the New Testament is 863. To send forth, cry, forgive, forsake, lay aside, leave, let alone, omit, put away, remit, suffer, yield up. Alright, and we have another one that is 5483. To grant as a favor, in kindness, pardon, or resume, deliver, forgive, give, or grant. Well, YouTubers, I hope this helps you out, and I'm so glad to be getting back into it, and I have a lot of them to go through. Love you guys. Bye.